There is an online debate between conservatives and liberals about Elsa from Frozen and whether or not she's gay. And the question is, in the sequel of Frozen, should Elsa have a charming prince or should she have a charming princess? Now, this all started after Alexis Isabel tweeted about it and said, I hope Disney makes Elsa a lesbian princess. Imagine how iconic that would be. Dear Disney, hashtag give Elsa a girlfriend. And then people caught on to that hashtag and really liked the idea. In fact, some people even photoshopped some images of what the potential princess could be like or look like. So there's an example of that.
I'd like to see more of that.
Is it wrong to think that that's hot? That's not PC, right?
No, that is hot, though.
Well, they're cartoons, so it's kind of the ultimate objectification of women. So I kind of like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we went full circle on
Yeah,
that.
it's just so committed.
Who the hell is that guy?
That's Graham, Franklin Graham.
Oh.
The dick who you're about to quote.
Yeah, that guy's a dick. Anyway, so we'll get to him in a
He's
second.
a covered dick.
Okay,
He's
but
an
I'm covering him up, so it's me.
uncircumcised dick.
I'm like, what the fuck is this random
Don't call yourself a
dude?
foreskin. That's not nice.
Okay.
There's so much more.
Anyway,
Nope.
he's very, very concerned about lesbian cartoon characters. So all of a sudden, conservatives fought back, okay, with a hashtag that's not as catchy, charming prince for Elsa.
Whoa, they could have done a lot better than that.
That is such
I
a
mean, that's
snooze
just
fest.
so terrible, yeah.
I know, but they're
Conservatives are
conservatives.
They're
so
so
not
dumb.
funny.
Oh man, I
right?
want to read a bunch of tweets on this.
Right, so because there's never anything clever that comes out
Oh
of
my
conservatives,
God.
right? Like Donald Trump, lying Ted. Dude,
Yeah,
there's nothing
I know.
clever about
That's
that. There's
just
no
a
twist.
statement
There's
of
no
fact,
turn.
yeah.
It's like
I thought the beauty.
Like-
I thought the beauty was in the
The
simplicity.
simplicity, you know what? Jimmy's onto something. We are underestimating Trump. We
Yes.
are, as
Well,
has happened before.
at least little Marco had a slight cleverness to it because he's a boy, right?
Right.
So okay, I get it, right? Lion Ted is okay, he's alive. But you know what? You're right. Of course, it works because they just keep repeating it. But anyway, back to lesbian Elsa.
Anyway,
Lelsa, we can call her Lelsa.
I wasn't gonna quote the Graham guy because I don't care what he has to say, but I do have his quote in front of me right now. But here's what he said on Facebook. In the social media campaign for this, one proponent tweeted, "Little kids need to learn that there's nothing wrong with being gay." What a lie! He had an exclamation mark there. This reveals their agenda to get the LGBT message to young children and influence their lives. God calls his people to be salt and light in a dark world.
I don't know
Salt?
what that
Salt?
means.
I don't know. It
And light?
sounds fucking terrible, though. Pray for
That
our
sounds
nation.
way more inappropriate.
By the way, okay, so let me reread that sentence. Why would anyone follow a religion that says God calls his people to be salt and light in a dark world?
That doesn't even
I don't
match
want
up.
salty people. Like, we
Right.
need less salty people. Why would you advocate for that?
But also, it's a noun and an adjective. What's going on? Like, doesn't this guy know parallel structure?
I
think
Doesn't seem like he
I
knows
know that it's a
much.
Christian thing, and some folks will explain it to us.
Yeah.
And we didn't grow up in that culture.
Jimmy
kind of did. You
No.
know, I don't know
What
if
does
you
salt
did.
and light mean?
He's
What's
not
his
Catholic.
context?
He's
Yeah.
not Catholic. That's right.
Well, if the world is dark, right? There was darkness, then there was God said. So I don't know what it
Is
means.
salt just a bonus? Like,
I went to
is he
Sunday
just into
school.
salty food? But the light is part of the Bible, probably.
Yeah.
But then the salt is thrown in as like, because he thinks people like salt.
You know what though? I think what God said is that let His people be the wintergreen lifesavers of the world. Because if you bite those down, they make sparks. So that's the light I think He's talking about. You
Probably.
ever bite down on wintergreen lifesavers in the
But is
dark?
there salt involved? I'd say that's saccharine.
That is. That's sacrilegious.
Anyway, let me read from the Charming Prince for Elsa campaign. We're suggesting a much better idea. An idea that promotes solid family values to our children and represents the natural family. The alternative idea is frightening.
That's what they said.
That's
yes.
what they said.
Okay, first of all, they sound like another religious figure I know, the Melisandre from Game of Thrones. The night is dark and full of terrors.
I know.
They're literally saying, they say, it's a dark world. That's what Graham said. And this guy's like, it's terrifying. The night is dark and full of terrors. You need salt and light.
I know. Are they speaking in tongues? Another thing I don't know a lot about. But
If you grew up in that culture, you probably understand what it means, but it's all mythology. Like, so if you didn't grow up in that myth, you don't, like, I didn't grow up as a Hindu, so I don't know why Ganesh has 8 or 6
I'm
arms
wearing
or
Ganesh
whatever.
earrings.
Oh, that's perfectly appropriate. You see that?
Does that mean like salt of the earth?
I guess, probably.
Or is it being
That's
like a
good
salt?
guess.
Is that a pro-labor thing? Because salt, you know, what to salt is you infiltrate a labor union. No, you infiltrate a workforce that doesn't have a union. You work there, and from within, you organize them.
Oh,
So
that's to
this
assault
could
someone.
be, yeah.
I'm sure that's what he means.
Yeah, totally.
Or a nuclear arms treaty. One of those.
Right, how could we be so dumb and not have gone with the obvious? It's like,
Right.
what's the thing called? Pockett's cannon? No. What's when it's a simple thing?
Occam's razor.
Yeah, Pockett's cannon, Occam's razor.
Something
okay.
like that. Okay, so back to Elsa and the lesbians. Now, I don't want to pick sides in this insane fight. Okay.
Over civilization?
Yes,
It's pretty serious.
So, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to be amused by this. Like, yeah, and is it okay for me to say I don't care, right? Like, if she's a lesbian, like,
Yeah.
I'm not like the Christians or the fundamentalists, like, that I'd be outraged. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, that's all right, fine, God bless. If she's straight, I also don't mind. And I'd like to point out that she's not real.
I was going to say,
No,
you
but
don't mind because
also-
you're happily
hold on.
married, but what if you were out there dating on the market? You'd want to know so you don't embarrass yourself.
Right.
You don't want to go up
Hitting
to,
on her when
to
you
a gay
shouldn't be.
cartoon if it turns
Right,
out.
yeah.
But
it's
look,
awkward for everyone.
to be fair, look, I haven't even seen Frozen 1, and in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about Frozen, period. I know it's a great movie. Everyone loves it. They sing that cheesy-ass song. But I will say that there are lots of little girls who probably already feel kind of confused about, what they feel, what their sexuality is. They might feel, scared. And so to have, a character like that be a lesbian and kind of educate the youth about these issues might be really important, especially when you're dealing with states that refuse to have comprehensive sex ed, that demonize the LGBT community. So yeah, there's definitely an upside of her being a lesbian. But, conservatives, of
It's like
course, are gonna
acknowledge
lose their
that
minds.
lesbians exist in real life, or at least just shut up about cartoons. Like it's like you said, there's no comprehensive sex ed. So if you don't want, like pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
Either we acknowledge that they're real, or you can't even deal with them in cartoons. I mean, what's going on, guys? Why is that so scary?
Yeah, so I get the points you guys are making, and so, but I'm going to sit this one out. Like, I just feel like there's going to be real life human beings who are good role models who are lesbian. Like, I don't know, Ellen. Like, if you're a capitalist, she makes an incredible amount of money. If you're just a normal person, she's got a fun show.
Yeah, do you know how
she's
many
a real
young
role
people
model.
watch Ellen? Zero.
Cenk.
I mean, I love Ellen. She's cool and everything, but that's the reason why they want to hit a younger demographic. They want to make sure that young kids aren't committing suicide because they live in a red state where people are telling them that they're, going to burn in eternal damnation because of their sexuality.
Unless
But they're
soft.
probably a little older, honestly. Like, I'm not even being. Well, first of all, 1 second though. What you just said about sitting this one out reminds me of that famous quote. At first, they came for the lesbian cartoon characters, and I didn't
That's
say
right.
anything
I
because
said nothing.
That's
wasn't
right.
a lesbian or a cartoon. So dismiss it at your own peril.
Don't you think, Katie, that this is about them thinking you can turn someone gay?
Yes, exactly.
That's what this is
the
about.
thing.
They
It's like
all-
if you're gay. Look, I know because I'm pretty sure I was born straight because if I have a lot of issues with dudes. They drive me crazy. If I didn't have to deal with them, I wouldn't. I mean, as friends, I would, but
Yeah.
Right.
So
I feel the same way about them.
I know, right? That's how, and you're
If I
a
didn't
little
have
gay
to deal
test.
with dudes.
But yeah, this is and this is some projection because I feel like the people who are afraid of this are afraid of it because they realize that they're maybe like
Gay?
vulnerable
Yes.
to being having their activity or their sexuality determined by other example, right? They clearly have struggled with seeing their own sexuality legitimized or not legitimized by cartoons, right? Like, it presupposes that people are just open to being either, which is why you have gay people in Alabama, because it's a fun thing to do, right? Like, this is not going to create a gay person. This will either make it easier for a person who's already gay to come out or not. But again, I have no idea about Elsa, because you know what? Maybe she's just really into softball or whatever. I don't watch the thing. But
Bert and Ernie, weren't they gay? Wasn't that the whole thing?
no, I think they were just
They're just roommates?
And then it's a tricky thing, right? Because we don't want to equate. The whole point is like, to hell with gender norms, right? So then we don't want to pretend that two dudes who are friends and live together have to be gay, but they could be gay, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So it's all a big.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so now I got good news, bad news for both sides.
She's asexual.
Disney will make a lesbian character when it is profitable. Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay, so when they have enough of a market audience to serve with that, they will create a lesbian character, and we might be there. So they will make that decision on how much money it makes them. They don't give a damn about your morality either way.
Right.